People are asking those questions again about whether they're going to be in a title race. They've beaten Barcelona in the Champions League. Players would have had a very different feeling then about what their future is going to be to maybe what they think now. And they're only human. Do you think there will be a sense of, I don't know, shock at what's happened? Disappointment at what's happened?
No,
because he hasn't gone from a position of weakness, has he? I know they haven't been on a great run.
Yeah, but Chappers, if you look at Chelsea and Chelsea's model, I think they are where they're supposed to be. I don't think they're as good as Arsenal. I don't think they're as good as Man City. You know, and fighting for top four with young players in the market and then trying to sell them on is where they should be. Yes, there's been a downturn in form, but with young players, that's always going to be the case.
It is. I think the hard part, what I think maybe the fan base is struggling with this historically. They're used to challenging. And I think they have made a small bit of progress with Maresca in that first season where they won trophies. This season, you would argue that up until that game, the Arsenal game, you know, where we say they were making progress. Again, it looked as if they were going to be challenging this season. They've had a terrible run in form for whatever it may be. There's been petulance in terms of red cards. There's been injuries that they've had to deal with. Tactically, the manager has made small mistakes here or there as well in terms of maybe changes at certain times on the pitch, or, you know, players who maybe needed a rest, so they've been left out, and then the player who comes in isn't quite as good as that one. But for me, moving forward, there is a positivity element as well, where you could say, yes, they've not got the best squad. They've got a load of young players who are all growing together. We saw with Arsenal, you know, where they were in a similar position, where they had young players who they've almost brought a group together, and now, years down the line, they're challenging. The difference with Chelsea, unfortunately, is that I don't know if they've signed the players for the specific positions, and that's the danger for me.
That's a really interesting point there about, do you think we still judge Chelsea and look at Chelsea as if they were the Chelsea of maybe a decade ago or a bit more under Abramovich, and this is very different Chelsea now. But are we still judging them as if they were the superpower of a decade ago?
Yeah, and I think for the fans, you know, with the names that are being touted, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, they've always had top managers, won leagues, won the Champions League, and now the names that are in the hat, people are scratching their head. But if you actually look at Chelsea's squad and what they're trying to do, they're no longer a superpower, even though they've spent a lot of money in terms of the squad, but they've sold a lot of players as well. So if you're looking at Chelsea now, with the players that they have, I think they're about right. Challenging for Champions League, it's just what they do moving forward, but them of winning European Cups. But I will say, Chelsea could be anyone on any given day. And we've seen that in the Club World Cup, we've seen that in the Conference League, but consistency throughout the Premier League is going to be more difficult with the players that they have.
Yeah, they're a different team now, different club now. The club I joined, you know, in 2009 was a team that had won Premier Leagues before, had been widely successful, had world-class, but I walked to a dressing room and some of the players, you look around and you're like, whoa, I'm in here with legendary players. And from the manager perspective, to Micah's point, is that they were always had sort of like legendary managers too. You start thinking Ancelotti, you think of Jose Mourinho, you think of, you know, the managers, they had Conte, they had Sarri coming, who successful managers, Gus Hiddink, Scolari. They've had so many top-level, big-name coaches where you go, wow, I know these guys. I think at the moment, you know, no disrespect to the managers that Blue Co have brought in, but none of them have really been proven to win trophies. And I think at a football club like Chelsea, when you're used to winning trophies, the anticipation is we're bringing managers in that are used to winning as well, that can put that mindset onto the younger players and say, this is how you do it.
I said they were still playing at Craven Cottage, so that 1-1 wasn't